Today we are finally doing our review on the Nudred product, and this is the Nudred sponge. It's a very thick foam sponge with all these little holes in it. Can you see the holes? With all these holes in it. It's very lightweight, very simple. Has this contoured side edge, which makes it easy to hold on to. And then the only other thing that comes with it is this bottle of New Potion, which is the lotion that you put in the hair, which helps to set the twists. So his hair is a little bit damp, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take the New Potion, and when you get the instructions with the Nudred, it says for the hair to not be too wet or too dry. So it's kind of a matter of finding a good balance. And so we started with his hair being a little bit damp with water, just a tiny bit damp. And now I'm working the lotion and making sure to get all the way around the edges too, because wherever it's dry, I noticed if there were spots that were too dry that it didn't work very well. So as you can see, I used about that much twice to cover his head, and that's plenty. So just working that in all around his head, paying close attention to make sure I get all the edges. What we should do is time this, because I haven't actually timed how long it takes me to do. But one thing to note is the length of hair, and we tried to use the Nudred like a month ago, and it worked, although I figured that it would work a little bit better if his hair was a little longer. So now, as you can see, when I pull up, let's see, what is that, about, I don't know, like maybe an inch. It's not more than an inch long at this point. But it's taken him a couple months to get to that point from a very short cut. I'm gonna go get a timer so that I can time how long it takes us to do his whole head, so just a minute. Okay, so there's really only one thing that's important to do with making the twists with the Nudred, is to make sure that the entire time you're going the same direction. So choose to either go clockwise or counterclockwise, and then continue with that motion the entire time that you're working your way around the head. So I'm going to go with a clockwise motion today, because that's just what feels right. It really doesn't matter which way, as long as it's the same the whole time. So I'm just gonna start making circles. And then the other thing that it tells you in the directions is to make sure that you have enough pressure, but not too much pressure. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of find out what just enough pressure is, but if you do it too lightly, it will just kind of undo all of the work that you've put in so far. But if you don't do it hard, or if you do it too hard, I guess it's not good either, but I don't know if I've really put too much pressure on. But you're just gonna keep working in different areas of the head, and you can see it's already twisting up. And as I'm working my way over to this side of his head, I'm still working in the same clockwise motion. His hair is the thickest right here on the top, so I find that that part takes a little bit longer to get through. For me, I get bored if I stand in one spot for too long, so I work on one spot and then I kind of move over and then I go back to it, because it does take a little bit of time to really get the twists in a full little, like it'll start to curl up really quickly, but to really get a full twist in there, it does take some repetition. And I have to try and hold his head still a little bit, but he says it doesn't hurt. This area on the top of his head is definitely the hardest part. Can you see what we're getting so far? See, we're getting here on the sides, you can see some really clear twists here. But then here you can see where it's starting to curl up, but they haven't become completely individual twists yet. So it needs some more twisting. Okay, well, we did this for like 12-ish minutes, and areas, it's real funny. I'm clearly not an expert with the Nudred yet. We've only used it this is our 3rd time trying it. And you can see the spots where we've got really, really defined individual twists. Like all around the outsides, we got a lot of definition, but across the middle, where his hair is the thickest, I'm having a lot of trouble getting those curls to define as well, or the twists to be as defined. So in spots that were being tricky, I tried to apply more lotion and more pressure, and then being super sure to always keep going in the same direction. And it is helping, but it obviously takes a lot of time to work with those trickier areas. So with hair his length, I would say that it could take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And your arm does get a little tired from applying so much pressure, but you can switch hands as long as you continue to circle in the same direction. But it is definitely way faster than the 2 or more hours it took me a couple years ago when I tried to give him twists individually by hand, twisting his hair. So it's a huge time saver, and it's really cool where it's working. But we're headed to a soccer game and don't have time to keep working at the tougher areas at this moment. So I think it takes a little bit of practice to kind of get it down, but as you can see, it's still a pretty cool look even when we haven't gotten it perfected yet. So that is Nudred.